So this was supposed to be an introductory video, but for some reason I never managed to get the riding footage I wanted. So I'm turning this into a year review with this Bonneville. What I think about it, am I going to keep it, am I going to sell it? And towards the end I'll also tell you why I wasn't able to get decent riding footage. Okay, welcome back to Garage Money Pit. This is the long overdue video about my T120. So as I mentioned in the short that I published quite a while ago, that's linked somewhere up here, this is the replacement for my BMW GS. Now you might think it's a bit of a strange replacement because it's a lot smaller. I consider this to be probably about the smallest bike I would want to use for UAP touring, and that's exactly the reason that I bought it. It's got enough oomph for UAP touring, but it's a lot less weight than a GS, and one of the issues I've had with the GS, because I'm not exactly built like Arnold, is that I'm fine with it on my own, but balancing the bike with my wife on the back is not that great when she has to get on and off, simply because somebody needs to go to the gym. Anyway, so from first impressions, as you can see, it's been modified somewhat. Everything that's on the bike right now has been done by the previous owner, so I haven't exactly put any of my touch on. There's going to be one mod that we put on before I take it out for a ride. Talk about that in a sec. But this is pretty much how I got the bike, including the fuel that's in the tank, because I haven't really been able to ride it much yet. Anyway, so what do we have here? The obvious things, it's got a full set of Hepco and Becker luggage. So these are like 40-litre side cases. I think it's the bigger top case as well. So nice size, certainly enough for like a weekend away or something like that, which is probably all you want to do with this bike. It's got an aftermarket screen, obviously. It's pretty effective. I'm not a big fan of the looks, I might have to do something about that. Other than that, a lot of the other modifications are in the detail, so which is why I have to get you a little bit closer. The obvious one is, you can see it's got a fruity exhaust on there. And of course, as soon as you take the side cases off, you notice it's got Öhlins suspension in the back. In fact, the whole suspension has been updated. Somebody provided the hookup for the battery tender, which I always appreciate. And then there are a bunch of subtle, smaller things. So it's got the extra lights here that flash when you apply the brake to hopefully wake up the SUV driver behind you. So one thing that I found a little interesting is it's still got the stock seat. All the other touring related changes, which make a lot of sense to me, but stock seat. In fact, one of the issues I have with Triumph in general is the quality of the stock seat. That's why I sold my last one, so we'll see how that one works out. Again, Öhlins. Everything else here is stock. And here we get to the next mod, other than the screen that's up here. These are Matrix fork inserts. For me, it's always an indicator how well a bike has been maintained. If you look at the color of the brake fluid, this has had probably relatively regular brake fluid changes. It's a 2016 bike. This wouldn't look like that, especially in the damp climate out here, if this hadn't been changed. Some other subtle mods. It's got these additional lights, which I currently have turned off. I have to see if they actually make a big difference or not. Yeah, again, somebody was putting this together with a lot of care and thought, which again I appreciate. Another mod that's I think very useful but not really visible is both wheels have been converted to tubeless tires. But all in all, I think somebody put a lot of thought in this. Bike rides really well. There are a couple of other things I'm not a huge fan of. One is the mirrors. This side mirror is actually okay. That one gives me a perfect view of my elbow, so I have to do something about that. But obviously they then conflict with the screen, right? Because the screen's rather laid back and you only have like a finger's width of space here, so I have to address that. Another thing that I really appreciate is it's got an LED bulb in there. I don't know if it's stock, but either way it's appreciated. So let's fire this thing up so you can hear what I mean about the fruity exhaust. You're hearing it through the microphone that I'm carrying, but you'll notice what I mean about it being fruity. certainly makes its presence known, which is fine. So one other thing that I had mentioned already is the seat. I took it out for one longer-ish trip, right, like a couple of hours, and that was pretty much as far as I wanted to ride on this seat. A friend of mine in the UK recommended something. This is an OEM Triumph, so-called Royal, as in King and Queen seat. You can see it's a lot thicker. Said a friend of mine in the UK pointed out that these make the bike a whole lot more comfortable. So I'll put that on. I have not ridden the bike with the seat on. So it will change the geometry somewhat because the seat's higher. You know, I like less knee angle. And we'll see how far I can get with this one before the posterior starts aching and I have to turn back. Yeah, so quick shot with the other seat. You can see the seat looks a lot more plush. So we'll see what it's like when I'm actually riding the bike. So regarding the seat, I've not had much luck with Triumphs, and one of the reasons I sold the previous ones I owned was the seat. This seat really worked for me. One of my benchmarks is, can I get from here to Seneca Rocks and back on a bike? It's not that far distance-wise, but it's about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on traffic and which of the back roads I take. So you're looking at least at 6 hours of riding. First time I put this seat on the bike, set off for Seneca Rocks, and made a much longer loop. I think I was on the bike for about 8 hours, and it worked. So clearly the seat works. It was a really good investment. No, it's not an investment. It's another expense. Okay, so what are my thoughts about this bike after owning it for approximately 12 months, other than apparently I wear shirts the same color as my motorcycles? I like it. I think it's a keeper, at least for another year or two. It did everything I asked from it. And, you know, taking it out West Virginia scenic roads, the back roads, it's great because it's relatively lightweight, handles very well, especially with the suspension mods. It's pretty frugal. It gets about 50 miles to the US gallon. However, that brings us to the first downside, and it's the size of the tank. At about 150 miles ridden, I absolutely have to fill up. I've pushed it to close to 200, but at that point you're running on fumes. The other part where I was a little bit disappointed with, and that's not a Triumph problem, but it's this Hepco and Becker top box specifically. For some reason it lets in water. I got caught out in a couple of thunderstorms, so I came back here looking like a drowned cat anyway, and then I popped the top box open and I found the paperwork for the bike floating in there, fortunately in a Ziploc bag. I have to figure out if I can see where it's coming in, if maybe it needs a new seal or a little bit of rubber grease on the seal or something like that, but relatively minor. It works reasonably well 2-up. It certainly has more than enough power for 2-up, and it has more than enough torque. Overall, it didn't really need anything. It needs a service now, so sometime over the winter it's going to get an oil change. But I'm probably going to replace the air filter as well, check the other stuff, spark plugs. One thing I need to change though is the screen. The screen itself works really well. It's probably set up for somebody my height. The air, you know, I get enough air on my upper chest and all that, so I don't get funny noises from the air hitting my helmet direct. So the other reason why I'm not in love with the screen is it interferes with most of the things you clamp on the handlebars, be it a GPS, be it a short selfie stick and a 360 camera, which I really would like to try, but can't really try that well on this bike because the screen interferes. Unless I have the camera sticking down here, which is also not great. And the other part of it is, because it's fixed mounted, there is no way of easily taking it off without taking part of the bike apart to get the mounting out. because I don't want to ride around with some antlers on the front of the bike. So I'm probably going to go for a more traditional screen, ideally one with a quick detach, because that would also allow me to take it off. In summer it's really hot and humid here, and you want all the airflow over your body that you can get, because with that screen even a mesh jacket doesn't help much. Oddly enough, as somebody who can barely leave anything stock, I'm not planning to make many changes. I am thinking about potentially putting the cruise control on, which you can retrofit. I'm not sure if you can retrofit it to something that's this early, right? Because this is a 2016, but I think you're able to. But on the other hand, for longer distance touring where I would really like to have cruise control, that's kind of what I bought the Harley for, which also doesn't have cruise control. But back to the initial question, is it a keeper or not? For now it is, right? Because it's one of those bikes that I like the looks of it, the ergonomics work really, really well for me, and at the end of the day, I can just jump on it, press the button and go. And I have a few bikes where that is definitely not the case, so having this thing around is just great for that alone. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you soon. I've got some gear reviews coming up, even though this is not really a review channel, but I wanted to talk about some of the gear upgrades I've made after the accident last year. I decided that, hey, maybe that was a bit of a wake-up call to get some higher quality gear. So I've got a couple of episodes for that planned, and hopefully in the not too distant future we'll have some more wrenching content. Alright, anyway, thank you very much and see you soon on this channel.